Your protective styles might not be so protective after all. I've seen a lot of women get stuck in a particular level. Take it from someone who has overcome a growth plateau that lasted a whole year, who has tried various, if not every protective style there is out there, and came out strong. Take it from me, not all protective styles are protective. In fact, your protective style might be the cause for your delay in reaching your hair growth goals. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is grade each and every protective style that I know about, or grade most popular protective styles according to their impact on your hair growth journey. So stick with me as I do this. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is knotless braids. Mind you, everything I'm going to say in this video is from my personal experience. So if you have a different experience, or if you feel like this isn't applicable to you or your hair journey, then feel free to disagree. But personally, these are my observations, my true, genuine observations. I'll be rating these hairstyles over 10, and I'll give knotless braids a 4 over 10. Why? Because it creates a lot of tension on the hair. Now, knotless braids are very sly, and they're very tricky because it creates tension on your hair, and you find that where your hair meets the extension, it begins to break a little bit because of the tension over time. So what I would advise for you wearing knotless braids is that you don't put it on for too long, maximum 1 month or 3 weeks. If you can take it out on the 3rd week, great, but if not, 1 month maximum. If not, everything from there just keeps going downhill. This is especially for my fine hair girlies. This might actually not be the best choice for you. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the low bun. The low bun is just a complete no. If at all you're going to install a low bun or wear a low bun or a bun in general, make sure you don't take it on for more than 2 days maximum, especially when you throw in some gel and it's held so tightly. I'm going to give low bun a 3 over 10, in fact, and the reason is because it causes a lot of tension on your edges, and what this does over time is that it creates a very good ground for traction alopecia. So if you notice that your edges are thinning out, your hair is falling off at the edges, I want you to take a step back and look at your hairstyles the past 3 months. What has been consistent? Have you been packing up your hair in a bun for long periods of time? This, in fact, is not protective. I know people say when your ends are tucked away, your hair is protected. That is so not true. Yes, your hair tucked away is good. It's protective for your hair ends, but it's not protective for the root of your hair. You have to take care of your edges. You have to take care of your ends. But what the low bun does is that it creates a lot of tension on your edges. And once again, I am rating this a 3 over 10. The next hairstyle I want to talk about is the Ghana braids. So that is what I know them to be called. So these hairstyles mostly are done with extensions that start immediately from where the braiding starts. So like you can see here, the braiding starts immediately where your edges start and the extensions are added. If I am to rate Ghana braids based on its impact on the hair growth journey, I would say 2 over 10. Yes, that's a really bad rating, because what Ghana braid does, just like low bun, only that it's worse, it creates a lot of tension on your edges, lots of tension. One thing about adding extensions to your hair is that your hair tends to get dry, and so does the extension. So naturally, extensions are dry. At least your hair gets sebum, which can be moisturizing to an extent, but extensions are dry. When your dry hair mixes with the dry extension, it creates a friction which over time gives room for breakage. With this philosophy in mind, imagine that happening right at the beginning of your hair, because these extensions are added right at the beginning of your hair. You can see how tightly it is picked. You can see how brutal it looks, which is why I steer clear of Ghana braids, and I advise anyone willing to grow full, healthy, beautiful hair to steer clear of Ghana braids. It's a no for me. It's a no for anybody looking to grow long, beautiful hair. Now, the next thing I would want to talk about are mini twists. Yes, I know all the girlies on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere are talking about mini twists and how it grew their hair, which is why I said these things might not be applicable to you. If you genuinely know that these things are not applicable to you, you've had counter results from what I am saying, from what I am sharing, then feel free to continue doing what has been working for you. But if you actually have been struggling and you notice that these things are in your routine or somehow have been in the corner in your hair care journey, then you should know that it is time to change something. Personally, mini twists for me in my natural hair journey, it has caused lots of breakage and stagnancy in my hair journey, to the point that my hair didn't even grow at all for a whole year. Not that it wasn't growing, it was growing, but it was breaking. And I'll explain this theory to you. Look, I know it sounds crazy, but twists tend to tangle up your hair. I don't know if it's the way it is fixed, I don't know if it's the way it is installed, but it tends to create lots of tangles. So at the point of takedown, no matter how careful you try to be, you might lose lots of hair. So even when you have gained hair during the course of wearing that hairstyle, but taking it down creates problems. And let's talk about the maintenance. I like to maintain my hair even when it's in a protective style. So I would like to wash my hair, I would like to oil my scalp, but doing all this with mini twists have only created more room for tangles. And then during takedown, I would see huge chunks and blobs of hair falling off my head, and I'm like, where did this come from? Until I traced my steps back and I noticed that mini twists were the problem, which is why I now moved on to mini braids. And this brings me to the hairstyles that actually work for natural hair growth. Now, we've talked about hairstyles that don't work, and I've rated them over 10 based on their impact on your hair journey and your hair growth progress. So now let's talk about the hairstyles that actually do work. First on my list, which is my favorite, are mini braids. Mini braids are beautiful, they are versatile, and they are so easy to maintain. This might sound really tricky, but mini braids actually do not tangle as much as mini twists. Yes, it sounds crazy, because to the layman you might think, oh, mini twist will not tangle as much as mini braids. No, that is not true. Mini braids actually do not tangle. Now, when installing your mini braids, I would advise not to make it too small so as to minimize breakage as much as possible. When my hair is in mini braids, I can easily wash, I can oil my scalp, I can deep condition. There's hardly anything that I cannot do when my hair is in this state, and it's always so beautiful even when styling to go out. So my go-to protective style for hair growth are mini braids. Next on my list would be chunky box braids or chunky knotless braids. Now, take note, when the hair is bigger, it creates less room for breakage. It's the same philosophy when they say when you hold a single broomstick, you can easily break it. But when you hold the whole bunch and you try to break it, it's impossible. The more hair you can hold in a braid at a time limits the number that would break. When you install chunky braids, it creates less room for friction, it creates less room for breakage. So which is why whenever I am to install box braids, I make sure I never go too small. Either medium or chunky. It's never small. Never, ever, ever. I do not play that game. I know what's involved. I know that it could cause lots of breakage. Now, if you're listening to this and your hair has been stuck in a plateau, your hair has been stuck in a particular stage, I do not want you to think that the problem is with your hair. The problem is not your hair. I always say this, the problem is your routine, in fact. And one thing that I would also add is that hair growth oils are great. They aid hair growth. I'm not even going to tell you hair growth oils don't do anything. No, they actually work. Hair growth oils are good. Hair growth oils actually support hair growth. Certain hair growth oils, mind you, for example, I emphasize Ayurvedic oils. I always emphasize Ayurvedic oils. Don't use raw oils. But hair growth oils alone cannot help you if your routine is bad. Your hair is constantly growing, but your routine will determine how much length and how much growth you are going to retain. So if your routine is bad, you would find yourself losing more hair and wasting a lot of time trying to figure out how to grow your hair. But if you can stick to a routine and if you can get rid of bad hair habits like installing the wrong protective styles, trust me, I give you 3 months and you'd start seeing progress. If you've watched this video to this point and anything in this video resonates with you, I don't want you to take it lightly. I want you to start immediately working on your protective styles. Change your protective styles, do what is right, and watch how your hair would grow. I made a video on natural hair routine for beginners, or the best natural hair routine for beginners. You can check it out in the description box. I also made a video for my wash day routine. It will take you through the step by step on what to do on each wash day and how to retain length and save time. What I preach on this channel is hair growth, but maximum hair growth for girls who know how to work smart and not hard. If you've watched this video to this point and you learned a thing or two, I would like you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I would also like to hear your opinions in the comment section. I'll be over there reading every single bit and responding to every single question. I hope you're having an amazing week and I hope to see you next time. Bye, girlies.